of the Winter Moon Pack. They were the sons of Alpha Romeo Thorn. They were filthy rich, devilishly handsome, and disgustingly arrogant. All the young she-wolves adored them wholeheartedly and stroked their egos on a daily basis. I was cursed to share a birthday and a home with them. At the tender age of 9, my parents left the pack to go rogue and had not been seen or heard from since. They left no instructions regarding their wishes for me, so I was taken into the pack house under the care of Alpha Romeo and his wife, Ronnie. As if I had not been devastated enough, I now had 3 12-year-old tormentors. The identical triplet sons of the Alpha were in order of birth: Alex, Felix, and Calix. They despised me and ensured that I knew I was beneath them. My parents had incurred a huge debt. Thus, I had to earn my keep and repay my debt by doing as many chores as possible, while the triplets enjoyed an idyllic childhood in the very same house. In some packs, the new alpha ascends at age 18 when they first shift, but in mine, the age for ascension was 21. Thus, tomorrow, on November 11th, the triplets would turn 21 and take over the pack, while I would turn 18 and experience my first shift. 18 was also the minimum age where werewolves found their fated mate, but I did not care about that. All I wanted was to come of age so I could leave this hell behind. At least the pack house had beautiful scenery. We were close to the North Pole, so snow was an everyday affair, though there was no sign of Santa Claus. I certainly did not expect any birthday presents this November or Christmas presents come December. The pack made it clear that I owed them money, and they were subtracting everything they did not spend on me from the huge debt. They also subtracted my wages from the debt, so I was never given any money. I was allowed food, clothes, and shelter. The basics. I slowly got out of bed. The sun was just peeking out from behind the snow-covered horizon. Everything glistened. I gazed out my window at the wintry terrain. I sighed. I had to start making breakfast for everyone. Despite the huge size of the pack house with its luxurious bedrooms and bathrooms, I was given a small empty storage room to stay in. I had a cot, a shelf of secondhand books, and a single drawer full of secondhand clothes. The other drawers contained extra cleaning supplies, as I did the housekeeping work also. I used the common room's bathroom, showering quickly. I looked at myself in the mirror. My parents had named me Chastity, but everyone in the pack called me Charity. This was started by the triplets as a joke because they said it so often. Even decent pack members thought it was my real name. I was so shy and scared as a child that I never bothered to correct them, so it had stuck. I detangled my waist-length dark blonde curls and put them up in a huge bun. Whenever I left them down, the triplets would pull my hair ever since we were little. They had not grown out of this habit even in adulthood. I sighed. There were dark circles forming under my large brown eyes. My light brown skin looked sallow. I had been overworking myself, or rather, the Thorn family had been overworking me. They used to have a maid and a cook with me as the sole assistant of both, but they had fired them last month after numerous conflicts between them and the spoiled triplets. For the past month, I had been drowning in work while attending my final year of high school. I had 7 more months of high school before I could leave this place. That was the deal. At 18 and after high school, I got my freedom, and whatever I had paid off by then would be the end of it. The current Alpha and Luna seemed to think they were being extremely generous. The pack house had a really good heating system, so despite the fact that outside looked like the frigid tundra, inside was pretty warm. I put on a long-sleeved white baby doll top that covered my behind as I was wearing just black leggings underneath. I started on breakfast. As it was the triplets' birthday week, and they would soon be alphas, every day was a feast day. I made waffles, pancakes, bacon, scrambled eggs, and sausages. I put the butter and maple syrup on the table. I made coffee. I quickly drank some sweet milky coffee for some energy and started setting the table. Luna Rani entered the dining room, eyeing me, scrutinizing my handiwork. She was a tall woman with dark brown long straight hair, pale skin, and green eyes. "The table looks nice," she said, a rare compliment. "But have you washed all the wares? Wash them all before you eat." Alpha Romeo sauntered in, kissing his Luna gently. He nodded in approval at the breakfast spread. I smiled feebly at him. I heard heavy footsteps on the stairs, and I took a deep breath. The triplet terrors were coming. They towered over me at 6 feet and 4 inches each, exactly a foot taller than me. They resembled their father with their shoulder-length, thick, shiny black hair, chiseled faces, baby blue eyes, dimples, and chin clefts. As they were alphas, they were all broad-shouldered and muscled, blessed with super speed and super strength, even beyond what was considered extraordinary for a werewolf. They were perfectly identical and perfectly heinous, or at least they were to me. Their deep voices boomed as they shouted excitedly, shoving each other playfully. They would be 21 tomorrow, but they still acted like they were 12. Alex was the eldest and the most serious and severe. He would surely rule with an iron fist and a surly demeanor. Felix, as the middle triplet, loved being the center of attention, and was naturally filled with wisecracks, jokes, and quips. Classic middle child. The youngest, Calix, was the charmer, a professional sweet talker and mommy's favorite. He almost treated me like I was human. "Did you make all of this, Charity?" asked Calix, immediately trying to pull my hair out of its bun. I nodded, dodging him, only to bump into Felix, who smirked and slipped my hair tie off. My curls tumbled down all around me. Felix and Calix laughed. "Stop," I implored them, reaching for my only hair tie. Felix held it high above my head. He threw it to Alex, who caught it and put it in his pocket. I tried to lunge towards Alex, but Felix grabbed me. Felix and Alex started shoving me back and forth between them like I was a ball and they were playing catch. I give up, I said while they snickered. Calix said, "All right, cut it out. Let her go wash the wares. Mom wants the place kept as clean as possible so there'll be less to do tomorrow." The elder two relinquished me. I ran into the kitchen. My heart was racing. I started on the dishes. By the time I was done, the family of 5 hungry werewolves, 4 of them from Alpha stock, had devoured literally everything I made except for 1 pancake. The chairs were all empty. I went to get the last pancake, but Felix snatched it up. He had zoomed in out of nowhere, fast as a cheetah and quiet as a mouse. "I haven't eaten anything," I told him, my eyes wide. "Good. You're fat enough as it is," he said, sneering. He ate the pancake in 2 bites. I sighed. I refused to cry. I had not cried in front of them since the first year of torment when I was 9. My 10th birthday marked a very important vow I had made to myself after crying almost every single day at age 9. The vow was that I would never let the triplets make me cry ever again. I would be strong. I had kept that vow successfully for 8 years come tomorrow. The comment stung, though. The triplets were widely regarded as the most handsome eligible bachelors in the pack. They constantly attacked my weight. I was not overweight, but I had a curvy hourglass figure. My waist was slender. I wore about a size 4 in clothes, which was small enough in my opinion, but all the triplets had stick-thin size 0 girlfriends. I had to take the bus to school. I had thrown on a man's black coat over my white top and leggings, another hand-me-down. I managed to find another hair tie, but this was truly the last one. The pack high school was called Winter Moon High after the pack. Our pack colors, and therefore also the school colors, were white, blue, and silver. The whole school was decorated with streamers and balloons in celebration of the new alphas, the triplets. "You're so lucky, Charity," said Mina Toros, the most popular girl in my senior year. She tossed her long dark hair back and pursed her plump red lips in her locker's inside mirror. She was wearing a pink skirt short enough to qualify as a belt. Thank goodness she had opaque tights on underneath. She usually ignored me except for the occasional pronouncement of how lucky I was. The things I'd do to those triplets if I lived in that house, Mina said, licking her lips. You'd have to drop out, squealed her best friend, the second most popular girl, Tina Gregory. You'd get pregnant the first month there. Tina had flawless dark brown skin with curly hair. She was tall and wife-like, and also wore a pink skirt short enough to be a belt with opaque tights. Mina and Tina usually matched as though they were twins. Mina cackled at Tina's joke. You know, Charity, said Mina suddenly, you're not totally hideous. Gee, thanks. Okay, I said, clutching my books. The girls were blocking my locker, which was sandwiched between their two lockers. Lucky me indeed. Yeah, agreed Tina. Your hair is actually pretty. You're like a biracial Goldilocks. I smiled. That sounded like a real compliment. Thanks, Tina, I said. Oh, and those triplets are the three bears, shrieked Mina. If I were their Goldilocks, I'd make sure everything was just right. Get it? Or too big, said Tina, giggling. That means one of the triplets has to be too small, I said softly. Being werewolves, Mina and Tina heard me and they burst out laughing. Wow, I was actually getting along with them for 5 minutes. That was a good one, Charity. Surprising, said Tina, looking at me like she was now seeing me for the first time. Yeah, said Mina, giving me the same strange appraising look. You know, if you had the money, imagine how cute you could look. I fidgeted uncomfortably, suddenly hyper-aware of the patches in my clothes. Mina and Tina strutted off, and I hurriedly opened my locker and got out my math book. Mr. Johnson, who coached football and taught math, looked like he should be an alpha, too. He was huge and really attractive for a teacher. He was married, though, to his mate, the art teacher, Miss Johnson. He handed out our graded tests while Tina and Mina made flirty faces at him. Those flirty faces were not doing them any good. I noticed they got an F and an F- respectively. I did not know F- existed before today. He smiled at me and winked. My heart skipped a beat. A+ as usual, math champ, he boomed. Mr. Johnson was one of the few people in my life who was nice to me. Mina and Tina, see me after class, Mr. Johnson said. After class, Ashton Peters, a tall buff redhead who played football and was well-liked in the pack, pretended to knock into my desk. The stack of papers on my desk went flying all over the room. Mr. Johnson spotted it. Stay and help her pick those up, Ashton, my boy, boomed Mr. Johnson. Aw, Coach, I'll be late for football practice, he whined. And we'll be late for cheerleading practice, said Mina and Tina in unison, pouting. I'm the coach, Ashton. Go ahead and be late. I'll explain to your cheerleading coach, okay, girls, said Mr. Johnson. Ashton grumbled. He glared at me as if this were my fault. He started picking up papers at werewolf speed, which caused the ones I was picking up to fly around due to the displaced wind. I eavesdropped on the meeting with Mina and Tina. Mina, Tina, I'm giving you a homework assignment to make up those grades. If you don't ace it, there won't be any cheerleading, he said. The girls gasped. He handed them a stack of papers each and told them they could work on it together and that he set the questions himself so that they would not find the answers online. I snatched up the last few papers from the floor and took the stack Ashton was handing me without looking at me. Thanks, I said softly to him. He glanced down at me, surprised by my thanks. He looked a little guilty all of a sudden. Mr. Johnson left the room, leaving Mina and Tina looking dejected. Ashton grabbed the hair tie from my hair just like Calix had this morning. My curls came tumbling down again. I shrieked. I was so fed up. Ashton laughed and ran away to football practice. There went my last hair tie, and my birthday was tomorrow. Aren't you going to cheerleading? I asked the girls, actually feeling sorry for them as they had been sort of nice earlier. No, said Mina. What's the use? We'll never ace this homework, so we'll fail the class and be banned from the squad anyway, explained Tina. I walked up to them and looked at the homework assignment. I snorted. I could get 100% in this in my sleep. I was suddenly struck by an idea. Remember how you girls said I had potential? I said, looking at them. They shrugged. I'll do the assignment, and you copy it over in your handwriting and ace it, okay? I offered. The girls squealed. They jumped up, hugging each other and me. Wait, said Mina, raising her eyebrows. What's the catch? Asked Tina, narrowing her eyes. I'm turning 18 tomorrow too, I said. They gasped. You have the same birthday as the triplets? Mina asked. Wait, that means everyone ignores your birthday like every single year? Said Tina. It was my turn to shrug. And they will this year too, but I at least want to feel special. I'm gonna shift for the first time at midnight, and who knows? I might see my mate at the big party. Not that I care, I rambled. You want to look hot, is that it? Mina said, smirking. Yeah, you want us to make you over? Tina asked, smiling. I nodded. Chapter 2. Makeover. I was supposed to go home immediately after school to help with the preparations for the huge birthday party tomorrow night for the triplets. But I had to do the assignment for the girls, and they had to make me over. I knew I would pay for it later, but whatever. The Thorns had hired a party planner. They should be okay for a few hours without their werewolf Cinderella. I did the assignment for the girls literally in the car on the way to the mall. It was that easy. Math was my thing. I was a nerd in general, and I was proud of this, even though werewolves prized brawn and beauty over brains any day. The girls were impressed. They quickly copied it over, sitting in the freezing car parking lot with the heater turned up. Mina drove a sports car. I didn't know what kind, but I knew that Mina and Tina were almost as rich as the Alpha and his family. They dragged me into the mall, squealing excitedly as though I was doing them a favor, even when it came to the makeover. I reminded them I had no money. They rolled their eyes and ignored me. I guessed I could consider the stuff they bought as part of the deal. I tried on outfit after outfit. Mina and Tina rated each one and seemed to have a blast. This was actually kind of fun. They encouraged me to pick out a lot of mini skirts and mini dresses. They said I had great legs, even though the triplets called me fat. Honestly, the clothes they picked for me did look great. I had some trouble walking in heels, but the girls made me practice in the store like it was a runway. They pretended to be on the catwalk too. They were so confident. I had to marvel at them. Next, they showed me what makeup to wear and how to style my hair at Tina's house. They did a test run. I looked in Tina's floor-length mirror and my jaw dropped. I had on high-heeled black ankle boots with a mini pleated black skirt. I was wearing black stockings as it was cold out, even for a werewolf. My long-sleeved white top had a sweetheart neckline that was really flattering. My hair was so shiny and loose bouncy curls down my back. My skin glowed and I had cat eyeliner and red lips that surprisingly suited me. I hugged Mina and Tina. Did I just make two friends? They drove me back to the pack house, hoping to catch a glimpse of the triplets, but they weren't home yet. Thank goodness. I started helping the party planner sort out all the decorations and the food. It was tomorrow night, but there was a lot to do. I did my own homework in between all of this. I was a master multitasker. I heard 3 cars parking. It was the triplets. Alpha and Luna were out shopping for even more gifts, despite the fact that I already wrapped like a dozen gifts. The party planner was a bleach blonde in her 30s who was obsessed with the hunkiness of the triplets. She seemed to dislike me even though I was the only one helping her. She had been over every day this week and always tried to make me look bad in front of the triplets. I wanted to tell her that they already hated me so she could relax. Her name was Rhonda something. I kept forgetting her last name. The triplets walked in. They each had their arm around a girl. They had a different girlfriend every 2 months or so. It didn't make sense learning the girls' names. Also, the triplets were anxious to find their real mate. They were not sure if they had three separate mates or just one mate to share. It sounds crazy, but when it came to identical multiples like twins and triplets, they usually shared a single mate since they had been one egg and one sperm that split to form multiples. So theoretically, identical twins and triplets were naturally occurring clones. Every girl wished she was their mate. That was so crazy to me. The triplets were handsome, but they were awful, and three mates sounded so complicated. Rhonda glared at their girlfriends, jealousy evident in her beady eyes. The girls did not stay long, and when they left, Rhonda told the triplets I had showed up really late to help her. I sighed. I had been under the table literally as I wrapped tiny presents for door prizes. All the pack members got to pick a mystery present from a huge box tomorrow. I crawled out from under the table to make myself known before they had to look for me. Hiding from them would just set them off. The triplets stared at me, their eyes wide. They looked at each other. I remembered my makeover. I did not think they would notice or even care. Alex licked his lips, trailing his eyes from my head to my toes. I took a step back. Felix looked flabbergasted and Calix smirked at me. "Leave it to us, Rhonda," said Felix, recovering his usual haughty sneer. "We'll punish her." Rhonda smiled maliciously at me. She was the most immature adult I had ever met, including the triplets, and that was saying something. The triplets had me backed against the kitchen island. "I'm sorry," I said. "I had to do some extra math for Mr. Johnson." It wasn't a complete lie. The triplets knew Mr. Johnson because they were his football stars back when they went to high school. They also knew I had won math competitions before. They had really enjoyed making fun of me then. "Okay," said Felix simply. He took a step towards me. "What's all of this?" He gestured to my outfit, makeup, and hair. "My 18th birthday is tomorrow, too? I'm just trying out how I want to look," I said, looking down, waiting for them to insult me or call me fat. "Do you have a boyfriend? Is that it?" asked Alex, anger rising in his voice. Why did he even care? "I'm too fat to get a boyfriend, remember?" I said, repeating one of their classic insults. "Don't play games with us," said Felix softly. "Is all of this for your mate? Have you figured out who he is?" "No," I said. They were acting so strange, like I had done something underhanded. "You'll only know for sure tomorrow. Your inner wolf will tell you who your mate is," said Calix. "I don't want a mate," I said honestly. I had never had a guy be nice to me, and I could not picture it happening. "Why the hell not?" Alex asked, like I was crazy for saying that. The triplets were eager to find their real mate. They talked about it every birthday. They would visit other packs hoping to get a whiff of their mate. They thought maybe their mate was younger than them. That would explain why they could not pick up her scent. Only mates who had come of age could be discovered. "Because he'd be mean to me and call me names, and I get enough of that from you," I snapped. I should not have snapped. I was a little frightened now. The triplets had not hit me since we were little. The last fight happened when I was 11 and they were 14. I had punched Calix, breaking his nose for calling me fat and nasty with dead parents. My parents' whereabouts had never been confirmed, and I always liked to think they were alive. After he had let out a blood-curdling scream and told his elder brothers about his nose, Alex slapped me, and then Felix slapped me. Calix had been reluctant, but they made him hit me. They dragged me out to the frozen river behind the pack house. There was a hole in it for fishing. I was small enough to dip in the hole. They had held me under the water until I blacked out. Their parents had been furious. I went to the hospital for hypothermia. I never knew what their punishment had been, but after that, we never got physical with each other. Nothing more than a shove. "Are you stupid?" asked Alex. I shrugged. "No werewolf would insult his own mate or be mean to her," said Felix, rolling his eyes. "Don't you know anything?" added Calix. "Okay, thanks. I get it now," I said simply. "You dressed up for us, didn't you?" said Felix, smirking and rubbing his chin. The other two grinned. My heart leapt a little at the sight of their dimples. I shook my head. What was wrong with me? The triplets were monsters, and good looks did not absolve them of that. Don't make her admit it, said Calix. She's embarrassed, Felix. Admit it. You did this for us, Felix exclaimed, grinning wickedly. He kept coming closer, and my back was pressed against the kitchen island now. Alex was quiet, smiling faintly and watching me closely. I just wanted them to go away. I was so frustrated with my whole life. There would not be a single present for me tomorrow. No one had counseled me about my shift at midnight, and I was scared. I knew it would be painful, and I did not need this from these 3 privileged assholes who did not deserve the title of alpha. They were physically alphas, but they had no integrity. They could not lead this pack. What a joke. I decided to play along. Yeah, okay, I said softly, looking down to feign embarrassment and hugging myself tightly. I dressed up for you. I asked 2 girls at school to help me. I really did have a math thing, but I went to get dolled up after, so that made me late as well. I'm sorry. I hid my face in my hands, stifling my laughter. They seemed to think I was crying. Hey, you know we aren't the stupid little boys we used to be when we would fight with you, said Alex gently. We're taking over this pack tomorrow, and as you're part of this pack, we just want to know what's going on with you, that's all. Huh? Don't cry, stupid, said Felix exasperatedly. Don't insult her when you're trying to cheer her up, stupid, said Calix, turning on Felix. Chastity, said Calix, using my real name for the first time in 9 years. I dropped my hands. I was shocked. I just stared at him. You look pretty, okay? Said Calix, winking. My heart skipped a beat. He was bending down. His face was really close to me. Thanks for dressing up for us. I hope you wear an even shorter skirt tomorrow, he said, softly smirking. I rolled my eyes. Alex and Felix burst into laughter. I tried to brush past them, but Felix grabbed my arms and put me back against the island again. My breath hitched in my throat. Did I say you could leave? He asked, his nose brushing against my nose as he bent down towards me. I squirmed in his arms. You need to have respect for your alphas, Charity, Alex said, using my awful nickname. The spell that Calix had cast on me was broken. Damn it, I screamed. Let me go. 3 alpha males against 1 omega female is insane. You have no honor, I cried, struggling against Felix. He released me. We were just playing with you, Charity, said Felix. Good grief, go, run upstairs. I ran upstairs into my room. I locked the door. I sat on my cot, hugging my knees to my chest. The Alpha and Luna came knocking on my door when darkness fell. I went out to them. We almost forgot you have your first shift at midnight, same birthday as the triplets, said Alpha Romeo, rubbing the back of his neck. I smiled. Were they going to counsel me or give me a gift? Yeah, so make sure and be out of the house at least by 11:45 p.m. so you don't break anything or make any mess when you shift, said Luna Ronnie. I nodded. I suppose that was one piece of advice. I left the house at 11:30 wearing my old clothes. I crunched through the snow. It was pitch black. I sighed. I was nervous. I was scared of the pain. I wish my parents could be here. For the first 9 years of my life, they had been in and out of rehabs. They were inconsistent, but they actually seemed to love me a lot. They would always make my birthdays and holidays special, no matter how high they were. They were deeply in love with each other as mates, and back then, I almost looked forward to having a mate of my own. It was almost midnight. I did not want to rip my clothes, so I removed them and stood in the snow, naked and barefoot, my curls covering me to my waist. If I had not been a werewolf, I would have frozen to death. Midnight came, and I felt my bones breaking. Chapter 3. Shift and Sniff and Squirt. The pain shot through me. It was excruciating. I screamed. My bones lengthened and rearranged themselves. Sandy-colored fur enveloped my form. My eyesight and hearing became so sharp. I stood on all fours. I howled. I was a wolf. I ran through the night, white snow beneath me and black sky above me. When I had tired of running, I focused on what I looked like as a human, and my bones started breaking again. It was painful, but not nearly as bad as the first time. The triplets had gone out to ring in the first few minutes of their 21st birthday with some of their friends at a bar. I passed by their rooms. The house had 3 floors. The Alpha and Luna slept on the top floor. The triplets and I slept on the middle floor. I had a tiny converted storage room, and each triplet had a master bedroom and bathroom. There was the most delicious smell coming from Calix's room. I snuck in. He was the least scary of the triplets, so I didn't mind if he caught my scent when he came home and realized I had been in his home. His room literally smelled like freshly baked chocolate chip cookies. I looked around. Maybe he had pot cookies or something. I didn't find anything. Ugh. I had put my scent all over some of his stuff for nothing. I walked out and caught another scrumptious scent. This one was coming from the middle master bedroom that belonged to Felix. I dared not to go in there, but I sniffed the doorway. The smell reminded me of sweet coconut shavings. There was no tropical edge to it. I breathed it in, wondering why I had never picked it up before. My heart started to race. I was afraid to go near Alex's room, but I had to know. If all 3 rooms suddenly smelled great to me, then I refused to think about it. I walked over to Alex's door. I picked up the scent. The strong smell of coffee and cocoa hit me. My mouth watered a little. Did Alex smell that good? The window blew open suddenly, and all 3 scents wafted down the hallway. Their combined scents hit me. I was in big trouble. I went to my tiny room and locked the door. I tried to fall asleep, but I kept tossing and turning. Those scents were plaguing me. Would they smell me when they returned home? Would I suddenly smell different now to them? I did not want to analyze it too much. Maybe my enhanced sense of smell was just picking up a lot that I had not noticed before. Maybe everyone smelled this good. Calix, Felix, and Alex sauntered in the house at around 3 in the morning. It was Saturday. Later tonight, they had their official birthday party and alpha ceremony. Celebrating with their girlfriends and their bros from the town had left them exhausted and a little tipsy. It was difficult for werewolves to get drunk no matter how much alcohol they had, but the triplets had really done their best. They said goodnight and happy birthday to each other and parted ways. Calix stumbled into his room. A familiar scent greeted him, but there was some unmistakable new element to it, like a new ingredient enhancing an old favorite recipe of his. Someone had been in his room. A girl. She smelled like roses and honeysuckle. He shivered. That scent was driving him crazy. He could not sleep. It was all over everything. He felt as if he recognized the smell, but he could not say exactly who it was. Surely he would have noticed and remembered someone who smelled this good. He could not take it anymore when the sun came up. He banged on his brother's doors. They greeted him, still half asleep. "What's wrong, little bro?" asked Alex, concern evident on his face. "It better be good. It's 6 o'clock in the morning. We partied last night and we're partying tonight," said Felix, doing a little dance and yawning. "Smell my room," said Calix. His brothers laughed. He walked away from them. They followed him. "Enough," said Felix, storming into Calix's room. Felix stopped in his tracks. Alex entered and his eyes widened. "Oh my God," said Felix. "What is that?" The alpha started sniffing about his brother's room. Little bro, who was in your room? Asked Alex sharply. You've been with our mate, said Felix, growling. You're keeping her all to yourself. No, I don't know whose scent it is, and it's driving me crazy, said Calix with tired eyes. Our mate's been in this room, said Felix gleefully. She found us. Oh, I can't wait to get on her, Felix growled again. What about Sandra, Tanya, and Avery? Asked Calix, mentioning their current girlfriends. We've only been dating them like a couple weeks. They know they're not our mates, so it was a temporary thing. I'm gonna end it with Tonya over the phone, said Felix dismissively. Yeah, agreed Alex. If we can find our mate in time for the party, we don't want the girls showing up and harassing her. Yeah, they'd be jealous, said Calix. And there's one of her and 3 of them, so we better tell them before tonight. The brothers were all in agreement, all sitting on Calix's bed. Who would be in my room? Calix wondered. There's something familiar about the smell, said Alex, smiling. It kind of smells a little like... Alex paused, frowning. He got up and ran down the hallway. He stood in front of the door to Chastity's little makeshift room. The same smell hit him. It made him shiver. Honeysuckle and roses. He sighed. He found her door unlocked and opened it eagerly to reveal an empty room with the cot in the corner made. His face fell. It suddenly dawned on him just how small Chastity's room was compared to the other bedrooms in the house. There were empty guest bedrooms bigger than this room. Why didn't his parents give her one of those? His brothers came up behind him. Felix looked dumbfounded. Calix walked into Chastity's room and lay on her cot, deeply inhaling her scent. I'm gonna wait for her to come back right here, he said, curling up on her tiny cot. It was comically small for the 6'4" alpha. I want to go get her right now, said Felix, his eyes worried. We have a lot of talking to do. Relax, Felix, said Alex. Our mate already lives with us, so we're good, said the eldest alpha, grinning. No, we're not good, said Felix, staring at them. Our mate is Charity. Charity! Don't call her that, snarled Calix, his blue eyes turning black. Sorry, it's a bad habit. Chastity, Felix said. Her real name felt good to say out loud. What's your problem? Asked Alex. He was looking through Chastity's things, thinking of all the stuff he was going to buy her. She hardly had anything, so she would be easy to surprise. It was her birthday too, after all. We have to go to the mall as soon as it opens at 10, he told his younger brothers. It's Chastity's birthday too, and I'm sure Mom and Dad didn't get her anything. Are you hearing yourself? Asked Felix. Again, what is your problem? Alex asked Felix. Calix opened his eyes to glare at Felix. Chastity is our mate. We had no idea because she was not of age until today, Felix said, waving his arms around like a madman. Calix and Alex were not following. We've treated Chastity bad. When she realizes she's our mate, she's going to reject us, said Felix. Calix shot up into a sitting position. No, she's not, the youngest said. No, she can't. We've been waiting 3 years for our mate. Chastity said she didn't want a mate. Remember? Said Felix, spelling it out for them. Yeah, said Alex. But when the mate bond actually hits her, she'll be putty in our hands. Calix beamed, grinning at Alex. Yep, Calix agreed. Felix rolled his eyes. Do you remember why Chastity did not want a mate? She says because he'd be mean to her like we were. Her mate is literally us. Calix and Alex were starting to look worried. She's going to freak out, said Felix. She's going to try to leave. Remember, she's been talking about turning 18, finishing high school, and leaving. Alex smirked. She has 7 more months of high school. It's November. We have until June or July with her to convince her otherwise. Felix calmed down a little, thinking it over. Calix grinned wickedly, his dimples showing, mischief in his baby blue eyes. Chastity might hate us now, but by next summer, we'll be making her submit. His elder brothers burst into laughter. Chapter 4